Hello and welcome to High Ground Gaming. This is Eric. Today we're going to do another video in our top 100 games as of April 2023 of all time in my collection. And we've done a couple of videos. We did 100 to 91 and 90 to 81. And today we're going to do 80 to 71, the top 100 games in my collection. And these are mostly games that I own. There might be a couple that are out of print that I don't have, but I played them a ton, either on Board Game Arena or, I try to at least play them in person at least once, but some of them, like I said, have been out of print for so long. But these 10 right here from 80 to 71, I do have. I was able to get all of them and in one place now. So without further ado, let's get started. So I want to thank a new subscriber, Dave Smith. He is in our gaming group. He subscribed today, and so far out of the games that I've listed, he wants to try Sealand, and which is my number 100, and Wendake, which I think was in the last video, somewhere in the 80s there. But anyway, let's see if there's any more in here. I think there's one in here that he really likes, and I'll mention it when I get to it. Well, anyway, starting at number 80 is a Uwe Rosenberg game. It's a game that I got early on in my board gaming career. When I first started it, I did a trade for it and Le Havre. I can't remember exactly what I traded for it, but I did do a trade for it. And without further ado, let me show you. Here it is, At the Gates of Loang. It's a Uwe Rosenberg game from 2009. It's a ranked overall 364. It's a very tight game where you're working as trying to sell vegetables and whatnot to the Japanese population. So this is basically it's a kind of a work replacement game. Well, not really. It's not really a work replacement game. What was it? I showed it right over here, what it was. It should go the mechanics here. Let's see here. Let's see here if it shows the mechanics here. It doesn't. But I guess it's you're trying to fulfill orders. But anyway, let's I don't want to waste any time on that too. But anyway, this is your player board right here, and a winning score is only going to be as high as 20, and probably more like in the neighborhood of 16 or 17, maybe 18 or so. That's your whole score in the whole game. So it's kind of a brutal game to some extent. It's an auction game where you're going to be auctioning in the different cards in the game. As you can see on the player board here, you have a person who wants a regular customer here with the orange. Yeah, with the pumpkins and the leeks. I think not leeks, but whatever it is there. I can't remember what that vegetable is. But anyway, you're going to be filling orders, and that's a regular customer. And then you have a one-time customer, which is the red customer right here, which you fulfill only when you need to do it. And depending upon how many regular customers and how many one-time customers you have, you're going to get different amounts for every level if you're of satisfying that customer's goods. You're going to be on top here. You're going to be growing your own crops here in different fields, which I'll show you in one of the other things. To the left is a market card, which you can trade goods, and then on the bottom left is where you can hire different specialists to help you or give you certain benefits in the game. Up top here is a market you can buy from right here. You can buy these vegetables. They're a little bit expensive, some of them, but you can use these vegetables to plant in your garden. But just let me show you here. Let's see here. That is what I just showed you there. Let's see, that's the back of the box. Let's see if I can show you it. These are the resources in the game. So it's wooden resources, which is pretty neat. Yeah, here's a good example right here. So these are two players right here. Up top here, you're going to be every round, and I think it takes place over a series of, I don't know, it's either 8 or 10 rounds, I believe it is. I can't remember exactly how many. But you're going to be getting these cards here, and these cards are going to have fields in them, and they're different size fields, and each field can hold a certain amount of vegetables. So this is your starting card right here. So actually it's 9, look, it's 9 rounds, because your starting card will always have the max amount of vegetables, by how many rounds. It works as a timer for the game. So there's 9 rounds in the game. And each round, you're going to get to take a vegetable from each planted field. But anyway, yeah. So this right here is a field right here. This is during the draft phase, where they're going to be drafting cards. This right now, this player only has Japanese yen, has some yen here, but does not have any cards yet. So they're in the process of drafting the cards. Let's see if I can show you something a little different. These are all the resources in the game right here. I think there's 6 different resources which you can get. Yeah, so this is the game where they haven't planted their fields yet. Let's see if I can show you some of the, yeah. So these are like the market right here, and in the market you can either hire regular customers or one-time customers. And again, the regular customers you have to satisfy every round. If you don't satisfy a regular customer's need, there's a blue token that goes on it, which will turn to red. And then if you don't satisfy them for a second round, you end up losing money in that game too. And money's very tight, so you never want to really do that. These are different helpers you can hire, and that's kind of the player rate, I think, right over here. But yeah, a very fun game. Like I said, a very tight game. The scoring is kind of unique in it. Each round, at the end of your series of turns, you're going after you draft cards, or you can also buy cards. Depending, the cost is variable depending upon how many cards you have on the left side here. Like for right now, you could buy a what's called a 2-pack, 2 cards, and that would cost you whatever the price of, however many of the least number of either market or helper cards you have. Like here, you have 2 of each. So if you wanted to buy 2 more cards, they would cost you 2. A 2-pack would cost you 2 yen. So at the end of the round, what you're going to be doing is, after you've made money from selling crops and everything, like this person right here has 2 regular customers and no one-time customers. So at the end of the round, what you're going to be doing is deciding how you want to spend your money. So let's just say you started off at, like, say, you started the round at 5. The first bump from 5 to 6 is always going to cost you just 1 yen for the first bump each round on the track. And then for the second round, it's going to cost, the second bump, if you want to raise it, like say you raised it 5 to 6, that cost you the 1 yen. You would have to pay 7 yen to go for the next one, and then 8 yen for the next one too. But again, every round, each one of the 9 rounds, the first bump is always just costs you 1. But after that is where you're going to want to make sure you have money. And it's going to get increasingly more expensive. And that's why the scores are only like 17 or 18 around there too. You can take out loans, but for each loan you take out, you at the end of the game, I believe you have to go back 1 step on the track too. So it's a very tight, very neat little economic game. Great solo. It's got a great solo mode to it. The solo mode has a market which you're gonna buy from each round. You're gonna have a you're gonna set up. You're not gonna have a draft, obviously, during the solo game. But what you are gonna have is you're gonna have a let's see. I don't think they give an example of any of the solo game. But what you do is you're gonna have I think it's a 4x4 grid, something like that, and the top cards are free to buy. The next one down, cards down, are 1 yen. And I think it might be the first 2 rows down are 1 yen. And then the last row is 2 yen. And then after you buy cards in that market phase, certain amount of the cards, I think the top row might disappear, the free ones, and then they all slide up. So it's going to fill it, and then you're going to make another 4x4 grid. Those are just all the cards in the game too. I think yeah, the different types of cards are in the game. But each card gives you a special ability, like you might be able to use somebody else's market burrow, or you might be able to fulfill an order from somebody else's customer, that kind of a thing. But it's a it's a Uwe Rosenberg game, so of course there's farming in it. But this is kind of a unique twist on that. But again, an excellent solo mode, and definitely one that I highly recommend. So that's my number 80, At the Gates of Luang by Uwe Rosenberg. Okay, my next game is a not really a roll and write, it's a flip and write. Very popular one. Probably not the highest one I have on my list, but pretty high up there. It's the one I did on Kickstarter also. And I got all kinds of... Well, let me show you the Gates of Luang too. This is the Gates of Luang too. The box to show you that I have it. But yeah, very fun game. And definitely one I highly recommend. The next one is my number 79 game. And that is the flip and write. It's called Welcome To. And here it is right here. This is a game, again, I sponsored on Kickstarter. And it came with all kinds of different neighborhoods. Like this one is the summer pack. This one I think I bought extra, which is going to have different types of neighborhoods. And then there's ones with zombie neighborhoods, post-apocalyptic neighborhoods, winter, and all kinds of different seasonal ones. But in this game, which I'll show you in a second, it's ranked 151 overall, family number 20. So it's pretty highly ranked. And just to show you right here what it is. So that's basically what's in the box here. That's your score pad to the bottom left here. And you got to have 3 neighborhoods. And let me show you more close up. Let's see. Weird pictures here. Let's see. I'm trying to get one where it's going to show you the actual game itself. Which, of course, they probably don't have any in this. I might have to get... They may have to... Oh, here it is. Yeah, here it is. So this is your score pad right here, and you have 3 different neighborhoods right here, which you're gonna try to fill up with residents. You start with a deck of cards, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to be setting up. This is kind of a weird setup here, but you're going to be setting up 3 stacks which have the address on them, which is the number 12 here, then 7, 7, 10. You got 3 stacks with the address on them, and then 3 stacks you're gonna flip. So you're gonna have the back of them, which have different things like pools or construction zones or money bumps or biz neighborhoods, which I'll get into a little bit later. But basically, what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be picking a pair of cards. Like for instance, here you could pick the 12 and the pool. So so what you would do is you go to wherever there was a 12, any one of these 3 neighborhoods, and you're gonna fill in a 12. And if they have a pool in that particular area, you're gonna fill in the pool. Down here on the bottom here, these are different scoring areas. These are the amount of pools you can have. You fill in a pool here, and at the end of the game, you score for the amount of pools that you have. This construction zone area allows you to change the address by up to 2 points up or down, like from a 12 to an 11 or a 10, or from a 12 into a 13 or a 14. Then there's also parks. So each neighborhood has a certain amount of parks right here that you're going to fill in, and you get victory points depending upon how many parks you filled in. This right here increases the value, and you're going to be putting fences in between certain addresses too, and making groups of addresses, which are going to count towards end game scoring. Up top here, there's like end game goals, which you're going to want to have different size neighborhoods. This biz area right here allows you to duplicate an address. Like say you filled in the 12 here, you can make 112B, the business address of 12. And those you can't have fences in between. But anyway, it allows you to create more neighborhoods. But if you fill in more than one, it starts to get negative points. So there is a cost to doing that business neighborhoods. If ever you can't fit in an address, because eventually it's going to fill up here, you start to accumulate negative victory points after the second one. I think it is. Let me see if I can show you another setup here. Yeah, this is kind of a good This is the back of the box here. So basically, this is how you really set it up. You set it up with 3 different addresses and then 3 different backgrounds. This is the pool, this is the fence, and then this is that construction zone area, which you can change the address on. These are the goal cards right here. The first person to fulfill the goal will receive, will complete the contract first, and then once it's approved, there's only one other person can fulfill. Like say you fulfilled it and you got 12 victory points, the next person might only get 8 victory points for the second time. And then after it's fulfilled twice, it disappears from the game. And these vary. There's some basic ones and then there's some more advanced ones. Let's see what else here. This is a game where any number of people can play. Like if you watched a video of somebody playing it, you could play along with them if you had a pad. See, it says 1 to 100. So this is kind of like a party game in a way, but you could literally play with somebody like weeks after they played or years after they played, just by watching the video and seeing what cards come out. The game will end when I think either somebody fills all their, I don't know if they fill all their neighborhood, or I think it's some condition. I can't remember exactly what it is. It might be when the cards. No, actually, it's not when the cards run out. But there's a condition that'll, for end game, it'll end the game. And then down the bottom, basically, it's kind of a little bit mathy, but you would just bring down. And these right here on the left here, these are points you get from the end of game goal cards. So you basically just add up your columns here, and then add up straight your row here at the bottom. And these red numbers could be negative. And at the end of the game, that's your total neighborhood score, and whoever has the highest points wins the game. But definitely a very, very popular game. One of the most popular roll and writes I think that's out there, or flip and writes, however you want to call it. But definitely a very fun game. And like I said, they have different neighborhoods you can get, which have different other items on it. And what makes this interesting too is that the numbers are 1 to 15 here. So obviously the 6s, 7s, and 8s there's the most of, because it's kind of like dice. Those are the middle numbers. It's going to be the most of. And there's an appendix which shows you how many of each type of card is. So if you want to count the cards and see how many 7s have come out or how many higher or lower numbers have come out, you can do that. But it can be very interesting and kind of frustrating sometimes trying to squeeze in numbers to get to complete those neighborhoods and everything too. I don't know if I can. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but here this person has made fences here in between, and they've created different size neighborhoods. And these right here are scores, from anywhere from a 2-size neighborhood all the way to a 6-size neighborhood, and depending upon where you put the fences. And once you fulfill your end-game goals, like say you wanted a neighborhood size 4 and a neighborhood size 3 and then another one size 3, so 4 and 2 3s, you would block off these neighborhoods up top here, and you can't use these neighborhoods for any other scoring, for any of the other contracts. So they have to be unique neighborhoods to score on the other contracts. But definitely a fun little game, and that is my number 79. Welcome to. All right, moving on to number 78 is another older game called Peloponnese. This is a game that Rado has on his channel, and for a while this was his #1 game. It is kind of a unique mechanism. Let me just show you here. It's kind of best that I describe it. I show you it, but this is Peloponnese, and this is a game I ended up getting off of, I think I got it off of eBay, but I ended up getting it with a lot of the little mini expansions in it over the years. I did purchase just recently, I haven't opened it yet, well, recently, meaning the last year, the Heroes and Colonies expansion, which adds some extra meat to it. But let me just show you here. The components are pretty basic. There's card drafting in it. I'm not card drafting. Tile drafting in this. There's an auction phase in which you're going to be. Let me see. Show you here. Like up top here is the auction phase, which you're going to be bidding a certain amount of. No, actually, it's not right there. I think this might be after the auction phase. But there's a certain amount of tiles that are going to be up for bid. There's an A, B, C, and D phase. And there's, I think, 3 or 4 segments to each phase. Each phase, so what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be forming a civilization, like in ancient Greek times, and you're going to be collecting resources like wood, stone, um, luxury goods, and trying to build your population. Now, the, the cool, sometimes frustrating part of this game is at the end of each round, there's going to be different. You're gonna pull 2 disaster tokens from a bag, and things like hurricanes or floods or um, volcanoes erupting, different things, droughts, different things can happen that will disrupt your civilization. Like so, for instance, this one right here. This one is the Arcadia civilization. You start out with just this one tile here, and to the left you're going to be building buildings, which give you special powers. Some of them are going to be to possibly avoid some of the disasters that could happen. On the right side are different resources you're going to generate. Like this is a stone quarry here. This one looks like it's a wood forest area, and you're going to be building your different tiles right here. Some of them give you extra population. Some of them give you resources each round. And what's really kind of cool about it too is that when you purchase a tile, you don't have to necessarily purchase the full amount of the tile. You can put like a reserve on it and put a coin on it and pay it later, but you have to pay it by the next feeding phase. There's feeding phases, and if you don't feed your people, kind of like Yui Rosenberg games right here, you will lose population. And at the end of the game, your buildings, I think, will get all 1 score, and then the population gets a score. And whoever has, and then the lowest of either your population or your buildings will score at the end of the game. Really kind of tight game. Not much for production value. As you can see, it's kind of a bland looking game, but really, really fun. There's different asymmetric powers you can get for your civilizations too. That's mostly in the Heroes and Colonies. But there are some in here. Well, Heroes and Colonies also add some new resources and fishing and all kinds of different other things to it. Little mini expansions in that. But the base game actually has some little mini expansions in it too, which I have. But these are the natural disasters here. So these 2 right here, once you pull 3 chits out of each of the each disaster, that disaster will occur. And like I said, you can lose your luxury goods, you can lose half your population, or a certain amount of your population. Up here are the different markets. So this is a good example right here. The bottom part right here, you're going to be bidding on these 2 tiles on the bottom. And then on the top right here, these are ones that you can buy, I think, just outright if you have the money for them. But the bottom ones are ones that are up for auction. And they're going to be more desirable tiles, which you're going to want to bid higher on. So, for instance, right here, there's kind of a weird thing to the market right here. So in order to put certain types of crops to the right here, you have to match the previous tile, at least one of the goods on the previous tile, in order to get that crop. They have to be somehow related. It's kind of a weird little mechanism there. But overall, a very fun game. Like I said, it's an older game with a not the greatest production value, but fun game nonetheless. Let me show you some more pictures here. Yes, Mags. That's again a player board there. There also is a card. The one I played first was the card game version of this game, and that's pretty fun too. But I prefer this game, the more tactile game. I think that's the designer right there. But yeah, it's a simple game, but a fun game nonetheless. And that's my number 78 Peloponnese. All right, moving on to number 77 is Fresco. Fresco is a work replacement game. It's I have the actual big box version of it, which I think, see if I can show you here. I think I listed it right here. No, not right here. Oh, but you gave away my next one. Sorry. Fresco. Disregard what the man behind the curtain there. So just to show you the big box version of it. And I don't think this game, I wouldn't rate this game as high if I didn't have the big box version. But yeah, this is the big box version right here. The other version is, well, the main version, the base game, is rated 7.3, 417 overall, top 100 for family games. Let's see here, yeah. But this is a game they put on Kickstarter a little while ago, and I almost backed it, but it got too expensive, so I just got the regular big box edition. But there's a lot of different little mini expansions in it. Let's see if I can show you right here. Yeah, this is the base game with all the expansions. Again, this is one of the trays I don't really like, but it's there nonetheless. But you'll get you got what you're going to be doing is you're going to be an artist commissioned to paint the let's see if I can get a good thing on the player board. Of course, I'm not going to show it. I don't know why they don't show the player board, because the player board is beautiful. It's the one Michelangelo. There he is. Michelangelo. I printed the, I think the is it the Sistine Chapel or something like that. But this right here is going to be filled with tiles, and you're going to be trying to get different paint color combinations in order to fulfill to fill the orders right here. You get kind of a cool little track right here. It's called a wake-up track, and that determines your turn order. And it also determines your mood. Like if you get up really early and go to the market, you're going to have more of a selection and be able to pay cheaper amounts. It shows right here. If you get up at 5 a.m., your mood's going to go down by 3 steps, but you're going to be able to only pay, I think it's 1 or 2 coins for each paint tile in here, or you'll get to pick a certain amount of paint tiles. There's 3 markets in here for that, so you'll get first choice of the paints that come out. If you wake up at 8 o'clock, actually I think it works just the opposite. I'm sorry. At first, in the market, you're going to pay a lot for the paints, but you're going to have first choice. If you wait till 8 o'clock and sleep in, your mood's going to be higher, and you're going to pay cheaper for the paints, but there's not going to be as much of a selection. You're basically going to get the scraps that are left over. And then there's a before all this actually starts, you're going to be on your player screens. You're going to be let me see if I can show you right here. Let's see if there's the player shields right there. You're gonna behind the player shields right here. You're going to be hiding a. You're going to be you're going to be setting up your workers into what you want to do. Like how many workers do I want to go to the market? How many workers do I want to go to the theater to try to improve my mood? How many workers do I want to try to go and blend paints? How many workers do I want to put into to go to the chapel here and to paint different tiles and stuff like that to get victory points? So you have two. So you have one player shield that's going to hide your what actions you're picking, and you do that all at the same time with other players, and then you reveal what you chose, and then depending upon the turn order, you're going to perform those actions there. Your paints right here and your money is always hidden, so that's behind another shield right there. So there is some hidden information in the game. This game was re-implemented somewhat by a game called Gutenberg, which my friend Dave has, and I think that it does the whole auction system better. The whole part where you place a certain amount of workers in there better. It has a system of cubes where the first player will get a certain amount of cubes. I think the most cubes to place, and depending upon how many cubes you place in there is the strength of your action. It just works better, I think, in that game. But this is still a fun game nonetheless. But I think it does it better in that game. And the reason I don't have Gutenberg on the list is because I don't personally own the game. So here's a game right here. These are the different tiles you're going to paint. So if you know anything about color theory, your reds, your yellow, red, and blue are your primary colors. I believe they are, yeah. And then your greens and purples are secondary colors, and then you have browns and pinks, I think, which are your tertiary colors. But you're going to be blending your paints that you get in order to fulfill different contracts here, which are worth different points. And as you take these tiles off, you'll be getting bonuses on the back, like you might get income boosts or other different things. And depending upon what expansions you play with, you'll get you can use them for other things. So in other words, this game right here, you're on the victory point track. You can never be in the same order on the same space. So it's got kind of a unique thing there, where if you landed on the same spot as another worker, another player, you could either go behind them and go behind them in turn order, or you can go in front of them and go in front of them in turn order. There's advantages and disadvantages to doing both. So I think that was kind of a unique thing. So this is the wake up track right here. Nobody's put their workers on that yet. This right here is your mood track, and if your workers, depending upon what type of mood your worker is in, just seeing how if he gets up early, if he sleeps in, he'll go up and down on the mood track here. And if you go above a certain part on the mood track, you'll gain an extra worker to use during the action phase to do actions, so you get more actions effectively. This right here on the lower left right here is one of the mini expansions, which gives you different bonuses if you are able to get tiles with certain pigments on them. This marker here is the portraits painting thing, which you can either pay 3 coins to get. Get 3 coins for painting this, or you can get these bonuses, which have end game and ongoing bonuses or one-time bonuses. And 2 of these different cards will come out first come first serve in that. And this also acts as a timer too for the game. But yeah, and these are definitely mini expansions, especially the portraits ones, which I'll play with in every game. On the left here is the different paint markets right here, and there's other little things involved in the. So this right here also too is the bishop. The bishop will follow you around, and if the bishop is on the tile that you painted, you'll get like a bonus, I think 2 points. And if he's on the tile that's next to you, he'll get a bonus of you'll get a bonus of one extra coin because he approves your work. You can also move the bishop by paying money too. And I'm sorry, you don't get coins, you get extra victory points. It is. All right. So yeah, that is pretty much Fresco. It's a fun little game. Like I said, I think the Gutenberg game does the auction system better, but this game is definitely it's a nice looking game. And definitely historical. So that is my number 77, the Fresco big box. And again, the regular game probably wouldn't be on it, but the big box definitely makes my list. All right, so as you saw before, I gave you a little preview of it. The next one, my number 76, is another game I got off Kickstarter, but one with a very unique theme. It's called Consumption, Food, and Choices. It's only ranked 4,195, but it's a 7.4. It's a game about dieting. Not really necessarily dieting, but food and choices, exactly what it says. It's a worker placement game, in which it's really cool. It's let's see if I can show you the whole board here, so I can give you an idea. But basically, it's like life, eating and then exercising and hiring different assistants to help you. Let's see if I can find it right here. You're going to be cooking different recipes, going grocery shopping, and that sounds real exciting, but it actually really is a fun game. Let's see if I can show you the whole board. Yeah, here's the whole board right here. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to get a board here, and it's going to be, this is your shopping right here. You can go shopping and get ingredients, and a certain amount of people can go shopping during the game, during each round. Activities right here will be different activities you can do to like exercising to burn calories. Recipes you can hire here to try to cook healthy foods, and once you complete the recipes, you'll unlock different bonuses in the game, things that'll help you break some of the rules of the game. You can go out for Chinese food right here, or get pizza. So these spots, again, if this is pizza to go, is only one person can go there each round. And I think they also get the either the Chinese or the pizza one. If you go here, you get the first player token. But anyway, if you go here, you'll get whatever tokens. I think you can either pick the top row or the bottom row. I'm not sure if you have to pick both rows, but this will be filled with all different kinds of food groups, like starches and sugars and vegetables and alcohol and different other things. All the different food groups, well, some good and some bad. And what you do is you'll take all the tokens here if you go and get Chinese food or pizza. You'll take all the tokens and you'll put them on your player board, and I'll show you that in a second. And that's basically, it represents your body and your body in different diets that you might be on, or different food styles. Like you may be on a junk food diet kind of thing. This right here is a farmer's market you can go to get fresher foods. So let me see if I can show you the actual. Here we go, the actual player boards. All right, so this is an example of a player board, and this is really where the game shines. This is a standard diet. This is your refrigerator up top here, and you're going to be buying different goods each round, and goods have different spoilage rates. So each round, any unused goods you have up here will go to the next, the lowest level right here, and eventually they'll spoil. So you're going to want to use goods like produce and meats and fish quickly, because they'll spoil really fast. Other goods such as nuts and oils and stuff last a little longer than water. And I can't remember what's wine. I think alcohol and other ones like that. They last a little bit longer. But this is a spot you can go to on your own playboard. Everybody has one, and this is where you can take ingredients, and you're going to be putting your completed recipes on the left here and your completed activities. So basically, these are calories in on the left and calories out on the right. So say for instance you went to the Chinese place and you ate a certain food or whatever it is. You're gonna have sugars in here, and the green areas right here are areas that you want to fill, and you get extra points for them. You notice the sugar right here. The first one is 5, the second one's 5. The third token you put in is 1, and then it starts to get negatives, because the more sugars you eat, the worse it is for you on a standard diet. So the way you get rid of these extra calories right here is by doing activities like exercising. Exercising will burn off certain calories and stuff like that, and therefore allow you to take off certain tokens, right? So basically, ideally, you want to keep in the green zone right here. Fruits and vegetables, you want a lot of those on a standard diet, so you get more points for the more you have here. You also get points if you don't have enough of fruits and veggies. So it kind of shows you how to keep a balanced diet. So it does teach you nutrition along the way. Nuts and seeds, it's like you want to have a certain amount in your system, and then if you don't have enough, you get negative points, or if you have too many, negative points can happen too. Grains, same thing. Meats, a certain amount is good, a couple is good, but go beyond that and it starts to have negative effects. And again, these activities and workouts allow you to do different things. You can also snack from your refrigerator too, to add like different things. Let's see here. So that's a standard diet. There's a vegetarian diet, which obviously more vegetables and stuff. No meats. Notice all the meats are negative on this. There's a anti-inflammatory diet, which kind of teaches you a little bit about that. I haven't really played much with the boards other than the standard boards, but there's a fasting diet. So notice everything is negative right, except for you drink lots of water. This is a fasting diet where it's just water. And then there's this thing. I don't know who that is. I thought it was a woman that created it, but I don't know. So this is a board that's populated with all the different activities, and these will change every round. The one thing about this game is that these tokens right here, these are the cardboard tokens that came with the game, and these are fine. You pledge a little bit extra, which I decided to do, you would get these wooden tokens. I didn't realize that the wooden tokens came with sticker sheets. So all these goods, in order to do them, let's see if I can show you the actual game here. Let me show you here. This is the game right here, Consumption, Food, and Choices. And it did come with a little mini expansion, but just to show you what I had to do, and it took me like hours upon hours to do this. These are the, I think these are the, I'm not sure which ones are the stickered ones and which ones aren't. But all these little stickers right here, I had to place all these stickers on, and these are the pre-printed ones, and these are fine. I don't know where all the wooden ones went. All right, maybe they're right here. I don't know. But I mean, there are just tons of tokens in this game, and I had to put stickers on every one of these in here. But other than that, the game is great. It comes with, like I said, a whole bunch of different diets. The expansions, which I got with the Kickstarter version, have some unique things, like they have what do they have? They have lactate, like if you're lactate intolerant, they have a little diet for that. They also have little refrigerators which you can get, and you can, if you want to store goods to keep them, make them last longer. So it had kind of neat little mechanisms in it. I think this just shows mostly the base game, but definitely it's a very fun. It's a fun game. One thing you got to watch out for too, though, is at the end of the game, if you end up with leftover recipes which you can't fulfill, you'll get negative victory points, and I was notorious for that. I got lots of negative points because I wasn't able to fulfill my orders. I took on more than I could chew, basically. But anyway, that is my number 76, Consumption, Food, and Choices. But a very fun, kind of like game that fell beyond the under the radar. All right, so let's move on to my number 75, and this is another Stefan Fell game. This is it's a kind of a simplified version of Castles of Burgundy, which is, but it does have some unique mechanisms, and it's definitely faster playing than Castles of Burgundy. Is it better? Probably not, but it is a fun game if you just want a little taste of Castles of Burgundy, and that is going to be Castles of Tuscany. But it's a fairly quick playing game. Let me just show you. Let's see here. It's rated just 1,098. Came out in 2020, 7.3. So it's a pretty good, decent game. These are the different. So instead of like Castles of Burgundy where you have your just one area which you're going to put tiles on, these are modular boards which you're going to get one side A, one side B, and one side C, and you draft these early on, or right away in the game, and then what you do is you're going to be lining these up and doing your not neighborhood, but your whatever it is in a certain territory in a certain way. And you got like a minute or two or something like that to design them. But it works very much like Castles of Burgundy. With some differences in it, of course. But it plays much faster. These are, and if you're familiar with Castles of Burgundy, these are different workers that you can use to mitigate your die rolls, because you're going to be. Is there die rolls on this one? I'm trying to think if there is. I haven't played it in a while. Let me take a look right here. Yeah, there isn't any die rolling in this one. So those of you who don't like the die rolling Castle Burgundy might like this better. This scoring system is very unique. It's you score on a green track, which is going to be your total victory points, or is it the other way around? No, one of them I can't remember which one, but one of them is your so there's three different phases that are going to occur. And you get a certain amount of tiles in your personal player area, and you get a player board, which is right here. Oops. And you're going to be getting special powers right here, which are, again, if you're familiar with Castles of Burgundy, it's related to that. You're going to be placing tiles on your little neighborhoods right here, And you're going to be doing the same thing like you do in Castle of Burgundy. Again, if you haven't played it, probably doesn't make much sense to you. But you're going to be trying to fulfill these color areas right here, fulfilling different size districts in here with either animals or um, um, let's see, mines or castles, different things like that. And you're going to be getting bonuses every time you lay tiles. Now, the cool thing about this system is that there are tiles. This is one of the timers in the game. You're going to have a certain amount of tiles in your tableau, and these are face down, and you're going to be taking, and there's a market for tiles, which is right here, these 8 tiles in the middle right here. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be picking one of these tiles to put in your neighborhood. And again, you have to place them adjacent to other tiles. And every time you take a tile from this middle here pool, you're going to take one of your tiles from the first stack to start the game with and replace one of these tiles. Now, you don't know, they're basically the same tiles that are here, but you never know which one is going to come out. So you may put a tile down that, oh, the next person really wants, or, so there's a little bit of that. The game, like I said, is in 3 phases. It's each time one of these, the first person to deplete one of these stacks right here. They'll, I think, they finish around, and I think they just finish around, and then there'll be a scoring. But again, there's these orange points and these green points. I believe it's the green points that they reset every round. So say if you scored 10 points in the green section and your marker in the red section, orange section was on 5, you'd get 10 plus 5, 15. And then, no, it doesn't reset actually. And then what happens is on the second round, it'll take your score from the green section and then add it to the interior right here too. And it does, so basically the points on the green section right here are counted 3 times throughout the game. So it's, if you can score a lot of points, especially early on in the green area, your overall score is it's gonna be tripled basically by like say if that 10 points you scored in the first round is actually counted 3 times throughout the game. It's kind of I've never seen it done in a game, and it's really cool though. These are bonuses you can get for completing different colored areas in your your little territory here. Instead of using die in this game, they use cards, and you have to match different types of goods here in order to put or not goods, but different types of combinations of land areas right here in order to put out, like you have to have 2 of the orange cards in order to put out an orange tile. And again, you get different bonuses, just like in Castles of Burgundy for doing that. You can get special powers here, which allow you to get more workers or take extra turns, different things like that. But it's a very fast-paced game, in comparison to Castles of Burgundy. And when you want to just get a little flavor of Castle of Burgundy without playing the whole game, because that game can be a bear to set up. This is fairly easy to set up, and there is a lot of just decent variability in this too, and you don't use the die in it. The cards can be a pain in the butt because you're trying to get 2 cards to match a certain activity tile you want to do. Now you can use any other 2 matching cards, I think it is, or 2 any other cards to mimic a different color. Like say you needed a red card, you could use 2 orange cards to instead of that red card or whatever it is, or you can use, I think, 2 of any card to mimic 1 card of something else. So you can do that, but there can be a lot of card drawing in the game too. But anyway, but it's a really fun game, and that is my number 75, Castles of Tuscany. All right. So moving right along, my number 74, and just to show you that box, is Castles of Tuscany right here by Stefan Feld. All right, so next one is going to be a bear of a box. It's another collector's edition, and I'll show you the main game right here. This is Suburbia, and just this main game, if it were the only thing I had, definitely would not be in my top 100. But the collector's edition, which is I'm going to show you right here. No, of course I gave it away again. Darn. Yeah, the collector's edition, which I got off of Kickstarter again. It's rated, let's see here, 8.1, which is really high. This regular Suburbia is ranked 187, which is also pretty high. But this game adds so much, and it redesigned the whole game because the original game was pretty ugly. And this, it just added so much to it. It added different cities you could build. It added game trays and just all the expansions. Everything is in one box, and it's an amazing production. And let me just show you the big box of it. It is huge. And ID Gesture, I think, has this game, and he'll testify to how big this game. Now, the storage solution in this game is really good. In fact, they give a map on how to store the game, but it's basically I get the collector's edition. You get like I think 20 or 25 different cities in the game, and each city has some unique buildings for it. But it's a neighborhood building, a city building game, and definitely my favorite city building game. It doesn't get to the table a lot just because it is kind of a pain in the butt to set it up and everything, but it's got a great solo mode. I think a decent solo mode to it. I wouldn't say great. It is kind of a little, and ID Gesture I think mentioned it too on his channel that it is a little bit, I guess, a little bit lacking, but it's still fun though. I like playing with it. But let me just show you what makes this game so great. So these are the game trays that come with it, and this is a one individual player's tokens and everything. It's the coins, and it comes with metal coins, which of course I love. Wooden pieces and everything in here. Your starting tiles right here. The little forks and stuff for like you can put on restaurants. The little planes you put on right here. You put on your airport tiles. And this is a game you really have to pay attention because you can score in so many ways in this game. So this is an example of somebody's city right here they're building. This is the score track to the right. These are two players playing here. This is the kind of the area where the tile tower here and different tiles that have come out which you can purchase. And this is a little like first player light token. It's pretty cool. It's kind of neat. So basically, you're trying to get the most population, I believe it is. Let's see here. But yeah, these are all the inserts and everything to it. So it can be a chore to, but this is really well designed though, so everything fits in nice. So no complaints about that. But let me see if I can show you some of the tiles right here. There's different. I can't remember what these are actually called, but borders. I think you can buy like an ocean border or a desert border, and you'll get bonuses. So the way this game works is, let's see here. No, that's not gonna work. I just want to show you one of the tiles, just so I can show you the anatomy of a tile. I think I still have the original box too that it came in. Just see if they have. I did an unboxing video on my channel too, so these probably aren't good examples of it. These are some of the borders. I just want to try to get a close-up of a tile just to show you. I guess this is good enough right here. So these are the nightlife tiles, but you'll score different bonuses when you place your tiles, and you have to place your tiles in certain ways on your player board. Put certain tiles want to be next to other tiles. Certain tiles don't like to be next to other tiles, like factories and stuff don't like to be next to schools or neighborhoods or residential areas, that kind of stuff. So you can score negative victory points for that. And then there are ongoing bonuses which you'll get. Let's see if that'll show here. Yeah, ongoing bonuses you get when other players place a certain type of tile. Like say you have an airport and somebody else places an airport, you'll get a bonus tile. You get bonus points if somebody else places an airport. There's a cost of the tile on it too. Different. So you're always got to be aware it keeps you engaged during other players' turns and stuff too. So that I like about it, and the whole puzzling nature of it too. How you build a neighborhood. These are one of the expansions here. I think the 5-star expansion, where you get end game goals in here, and these are hidden. Some of them are hidden, and some of them are public. But might be the person with the most business tiles. That might be your goal, and you're trying to get that, and that might be something hidden. So you're going to want to try to do that, but not be too obvious. So other players start to say, "Ooh, I see what that other player's doing. I'm going to try to take tiles away from him." But yeah, so there's certain achievements and there's goals and stuff. I think it is the fewest and the most. This is the LED tower I had to put together. Let's see if I can show you here. Yeah, it's just how you put them together. This is the I can't remember one of the expansions, but there were tons. This took a long time to like this setup here. You get and they're during certain parts after a certain amount of tiles come up, there'll be certain you score the bonuses or score the challenge. Both players are eligible for that. This is how you set up the main tower there. But definitely tons and tons of tiles in this game. But a very fun game that I definitely really, really enjoy. It doesn't get to the table a lot because it's a bear. It plays really quickly. It plays like you can play like a 3 or 4 player game within less than 2 hours, 90 minutes to 2 hours at the most. A solo game you can probably knock out in a half an hour. But definitely a fun city building game, and my favorite city building game. And that is Suburbia Collector's Edition. And that is my number 74. All right, moving right along, 73. This is another Stefan Fell game, and this is called, let's see if I can find it right here, Notre Dame. Yeah, a fun game. I get the 10th anniversary edition, which basically just added, I think, a little mini expansion to it. The game, I think, is basically unchanged. Just like Trajan didn't really change much with the reprint. They just wanted to call it 10th anniversary, so they added a little mini expansion or something in it. But this game is really fun. It's a ranked number 362, 2 to 5 players. I don't think there's a solo mode for this one. I haven't tried to play it solo. Kind of a medium weight game. And what I like about this is these are different districts right here, which each person starts in their own little district. And depending upon how many players are in there, you set it up a little differently. And then in the middle, there's like an area where you try to vie for dominance. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's a fun little game, which you have a certain amount of cards with actions in it. Just to show you here. Let's see if I can show you. This is, of course, a game in progress. But yeah, this is set up for a different player account. You can see that it looks a little different here. But you'll be starting at with a pawn in a certain district, and you're going to be putting different workers in the different areas. And depending upon the amount of workers you put in an area, that's the strength of your action in the different areas. You're going to be traveling around in the little wagon collecting tokens, which give you bonuses. This area, again, is a little area of a control game in the middle here. You're going to be scoring a certain amount of money or resources depending upon that. There's a plague track in this too, so you have to put people in the hospital. It takes place during the Middle Ages, so you have to make sure that you have enough workers in the hospital to take care of the during the plague. And when it reaches 9 right here, the plague will come, and you have to have it. You can lose victory points in the game. At the end of each round, there's going to be different workers you can hire right here, depending upon if you meet the conditions. I can't remember exactly what they are. It's a lot of card play in it. It's all card play, but it's a fun little system. This is this little center tile area, and the shape of this will change too, depending upon what you use. But right here, everybody has the same amount, so they split the the rewards in here. Let's see if I can show you something else. These are different player abilities right here, which they allow you to move your workers around to different areas, or give you money bonuses if you have a certain amount of workers in each area. So that adds a lot of variability to it. These are a little set collection type thing that you're going to collect these different tokens. This allows you to avoid the plague track. This allows you, I think, to get extra tokens or something. These are different victory point tokens that you gather during the game. This is a little carriage that you go around. I think you have a bishop, which you can move around too. That's a first player token. These are the different cards. So I think every round, I think it's going to be a set of you pick a set of 3 cards, I think it is, and 2 of them you're going to use, and 1 of them you're not going to use, I think it is. That's how it works. So you're not going to use every card in your deck at all times, and you have to decide which one. These are the different center tokens depending upon how the center is set up. This is just one of the pieces right here. So these are the different districts right here, and each district has, depending upon if you put workers on you can get money, or you can get move your carriage around, or you can put workers in the hospital. Different scoring little things in it too, and it's really a fun little game. Yep. Let's see here, and that is my number. I mean, the tokens in it aren't really that exciting. I mean, the production value is okay, but it's nothing that special, but still a fun game. So that is my number 73, Notre Dame. The next game, and you'll probably wonder why I have this in my game when you hear the name of it. It's called My Village. And if you watch my other videos, you notice there's a game called Village. Well, this is a real implementation of the game, but I think I touched upon it in the other video, is that this is, I think it's a faster paced game, and I like it better. And this is the game I got first before I got the other Village game. But my friend Dave, we both, I think, like this game better than the actual Village game, and I'll show you why. Let's see here. Let's see if I can show you. Of course, it's going to be all the different languages it's in. So in this game, you have your own personal village right here, and you're going to be building different things in your village. You're going to be, let's see if I can show you here. It's something that's halfway built. Yeah. So let me see if I can get you a good visual. Yeah. So this is a probably like midway through the game or something like that. So it's got very similar areas to the other Village game. Like it's got a travel area. It's got an area where you're going to hire different merchants to produce goods. You got customers that come in. You're going to be building a cathedral out here, and depending upon how many cathedral tiles you have, you're going to score victory points on that. This one right here is different, like a city hall area, which you're going to get different bonuses from. And these are farms you're going to be able to build out here. On the bottom are completed orders and stuff. So, and then this is like a first player token right here. But the cool thing about this game is that you're going to roll dice. You're going to roll white dice, and you're going to roll black dice. The black dice are plague dice, and they cause different things, bad things. It's got a time track around it too, so you're going to be killing different workers off in this game. In order to activate a certain area, you have to have, these are all generic workers that you have in here. These represent the different things. And what's cool about this game is that you have little black hexagonal cylinders, and they represent people. They represent what's called story points, which are kind of victory points. They represent money and other things. And depending upon what you roll for die, like these right here, these cards right here, they activate on different die rolls. Like so if you pick, there's going to be a pool of dice there, and if you want to pick a certain value of a die, you pick 2 die, and say you pick the 2 5s. You can activate anything that's a 10 in there, or together. So if you wanted to, like, say you want to do a 6 here, you'd activate these 2 cards right here, because they both have 6, so they would produce goods. And you use the black cylinders to show you produce goods. And you could also activate, I think, this area right here, which I'm not sure what it is, but it allows you to take the benefit of that area too. So basically, you're picking dice, and you pick, I think there's like 2 or 3 rounds, I think, depending upon the player count. You get a certain amount of turns per round. If you have to put the black die, that's like that's like a die that causes you to move your time track ahead further. And you're going to be collecting what's called story points in this game. You can lose story points depending upon, there's a rat track in the game, similar to the, actually, I don't know if there's a rat track in the other game, but let me see. So that's basically money that's there. That's the Grim Reaper that follows you around. See, in the middle here, there's graves you're going to try to fill like in the other game too. And you have a certain amount of prestige graves, which you're going to score victory points for, and then pauper graves. This right here is a die is for the rat track. And depending upon the player count, there's going to be, you're going to roll the rat track, I can't remember exactly when it happens, but certain instances. Oh, I think whenever when somebody dies, they'll pass you have to roll on the rat track die, and when it reaches the end of it, you'll lose half your story points if you don't have them secured, if they're not in a book. And by secured, I mean in this little house right here. You'll collect the story points on this little tree right here. And if you don't, this worker right here just basically goes back and forth between the house and the tree. And he can collect all the story points and bring them back to the house. And when they're in the house, they're secure. But when they're here, they're not. So basically, it scores a lot like the regular village game. But the whole dice mechanics in this game. And you can mitigate the die rolls too by spending money. But these are all different tiles you can get monks you can hire to build your churches out. Like this is what building a church out. And you can hire you can and when your workers die right here, you don't get different generations of workers. What you do is you have to train up new workers. Like a 3 or 11 will allow you to place somebody in the university, and then they gain skills, and then they are able to go out and perform the other jobs. And at the end of the game, you only can score in the areas in which you have workers in it. So you can still sell goods and stuff like that for an area that doesn't have a boss in it, but you have to have a worker in those areas to score at the end of the game. But it's a really fun implementation of Village, and definitely one that I enjoy better than the original game. In fact, like I said, this is the game that I played initially. Before I played the actual Village game, and it kind of got me interested in the Village game too. The scoring is pretty simplified, straightforward, and I just think it's a smoother version and less complicated version of the Village game. This is the Pauper's Grave area too. I mean the regular grave area. Each area, depending upon where they die, and you'll get victory points for them. And a certain amount, depending upon the player count, these are the amount of deaths that will occur before the end of the game. So it's very similar triggers to the end of the game. But the story point thing is kind of a neat little thing. That's the rat track. That's the Grim Reaper, which falls apart all the time. But anyway, that is my number 72, My Village. And lastly, this is a really extremely popular game, and some of you, especially slower board gamer, will wonder why that this is only my number 71 game. And if you know his channel, you probably guessed it already. That is going to be, let me just show you the My Village first. So this is My Village, and I will show it to you here. And this is going to be Wingspan. Yes, it is only my number 71, but yeah, I like it a lot. I play it mostly now on BGA, on Board Game Arena, but I do enjoy it. And in fact, I've enjoyed it more since I probably started playing it on Board Game Arena. It's ranked 25 overall, which is really high. Family, it's the number 1 family game, so which I can understand why. But this is a lot of people like my buddy Dave. He likes Everdell better. I don't like Everdell better. I don't like the theme in Everdell. It just doesn't speak to me. But this game, I really do enjoy it. The components are top notch in this game. It's basically a game we're going to be collecting birds in different habitats and scoring victory points. Let me see if we can show you a player board here. There's a solo version, which a solo version is good in it. But you have different player boards here. Let me show you one that's got actual birds in it. So you're going to meet 3 different habitats. It is I think a forest habitat, I believe it is, a mountain habitat, a plains habitat, and a water habitat. And it's got a really cool system where you are going to be placing different. One of them you can get food in. I think in the mountain area you can get eggs. You can put on your birds, and you'll need eggs to place birds when you get to higher levels. The water area allows you to get more cards, generally speaking. This is kind of a neat game near the end right here. You get a certain amount of turns each round. And here's the one, I guess this is, a lot of people do like this, but I kind of find it like a little bit restricting, but I know there's probably a balancing reason for it. But on the first round, I think you get 8 turns. And then on this, I think there's 4 scorings total. On the second round, you take one of your, you're going to take one of your cubes, and place it on the scoring track up here. And then you can only get 7 turns on the second round. And then the third round, you're going to get 6, and then and so forth. So I think there's 4 rounds to it. But each round you get 1 less turn that round, so it's gets a little tighter. And I understand why they did it, but sometimes it almost feels a little bit too restrictive. The cards get different bonuses on them, so if you activate, you can either play a card, you can activate the ability of the row. Like say here, you would get 3 food, and then you go backwards and bring your cube backwards, and you collect all the different bonuses. Like it might be if you tuck a card, get a point. If you can lay an egg on a certain bird. Pink abilities or other players can use on your turn. It's kind of like a bonus they can get. You can put eggs on the cards, so it can look really, really cool. Visually, it's just, like I said, really good. There's a bird feeder, which you're going to roll your die in and everything. Definitely a fun, great game. You get different bonuses you're going to try to fulfill, like end-game scoring and stuff, and you can get more. You start off with 1, but you can get more of them if you unlock certain abilities. Some birds allow you to place 2 birds at one time if you have all the food for them. And you're going to need food in order to place your birds in different habitats. But yeah, definitely a visually stunning game. And they do have a couple expansions for it, which I definitely would like to try. I know there's an Asian one I really want to try, which adds a great solo mode to it. And I do have one of I think the Oceanic expansion. It's still in the shrink. And I think there's one more European expansion too. But and a lot of people have like gotten deluxeified by getting like fish tokens and vertebrate tokens and cherries and wheat and mice tokens and stuff. So you can really a lot of people really love this game, and it's a really, really fun game. The only thing I don't really like are the player boards themselves. They're not really great quality. I'm sure you can get it's not a major gripe in it, but anyway, but that is my number 71 Wingspan. All right, so that's it for this time. I think I went about an hour and 15 minutes, so try to go a little bit less this time, but stay tuned. I know ID Gesture is going to be doing his 80 to 71. I'm going to try to get this out a little bit before he does. probably the same day. I'll probably put this, recording it on Wednesday night. I might see if I'll put it out tonight, or definitely be available by Thursday morning. But I'll try to do one more video along with him, because he's doing 2 this weekend. My 70 to 61. And then I got one more to go. And on the 30th of April, we'll both be with Lower Slower Board Gamer, ID Gesture, and Phoenix Knight. We'll be doing our top 50. So stay tuned for that at Sunday, April 30th at 8 p.m. All right, so thank you for joining me. It's been Eric from Higher Ground Gaming with my number 80 to 71 top board games of all time as of April of 2023. So take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next top 10 video. Bye-bye now.